Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
Welcome to another edition of Keeping It Real. Well, I want to start off the show by saying what a day today has been. So, Fred, how was your day?
It was all right.
It was all right?
Yeah.
Phone didn't fall down no elevator.
No.
But tonight, folks, on a serious tip, we're going to be talking about, well, it's that time of year again.
Yeah.
And if you are in high school, it's the moment you've dreamed of since you were a kid. You know, there's very few moments that we all dream of when we're growing up. You know, one is having your first child, getting married, and the other is today's topic, the senior prom. Wow, senior prom. I mean, let's see, for me, my senior prom, wow, I went to two, actually. I went to one in 2007. I had a date for that one. And 2008, I had no date for that one. So you know, but I'll get into my whole experience in a minute. Fred, what about you? What's senior prom?
I mean, in my school, you have junior prom when you're a junior, and then senior cotillion,
That's
which
right.
is like senior prom.
Well, we called it junior ring dance. We called it the ring dance.
See, we had in sophomore year, we had the sophomore ring dance.
Sophomore ring dance. What do you get for being a sophomore?
You got your class ring on at sophomore year.
But, you know, the reason why the prom is special because a lot of things happen. You know, your senior prom is the passing of, in a way, one torch to another because you're passing that childhood torch to adulthood.
Yeah.
This is your last night
Your last
all
hurrah,
together
folks.
with the entire class. And a lot of times for a lot of young people and a lot of kids, some of you may be your childhood friends because let's face it,
Yeah.
some of them might have went the whole 12 years with you in school. I mean, you know, you may went to elementary school together, middle school together, and here in high school together. And the thing is, once you leave after senior prom, it's that big graduation, and then your best friend that you've been 20 years goes their own way. And life begins.
And then life happens, as you say.
Life does begin. And, you know, that's why senior prom is such a big deal. You know, and a lot of things happen. You know, senior prom can be like, you know, how you say your bachelor party, too. I mean, a lot of things, unfortunately, happen as well in senior prom. But before we go into all that, Fred, let me ask you a question.
What's up, man?
Your senior prom, how was that for you?
Well, all I remember about senior prom or junior prom is my tuxedo, which was a silver vest, silver tie, bow tie, and a black suit.
You had a bow tie. He had a bow tie.
I had a bow tie, folks. Only time
Go
that I
on.
actually wore a bow tie.
Go on.
No date.
I'll ask you later about your penguin suit. Go on.
No date, folks. I had no date for that prom. I was so pissed.
My question, how was prom with you? Was it like a big thing to you? Was it a special thing, or was it like? Yeah,
Honestly, it was like, okay, I'm here. You know, I'm having a good time. But I would have had a better time if I went with a date.
Touche. I mean, like I said, I went 2 proms, and one I did have a date. For me, I never got over the feeling of how nervous it was for prom. The hype going up to prom was like an event, like the Super Bowl or the World Series, like that, you know, or a great boxing match fight. Because for us as young adults,
That was
like I said
one
at the
big
top of the
dance
show,
that we had as
this
kids.
is, you know, like I said at the top of the show, we, you know, we dream about this forever. It's like, okay, what would it be like that day, one day when I get older and I go to senior prom? You know, I remember getting dressed and just you want everything to be perfect. I mean, I was so nervous, you know, and you know, I was like, you know, like I had a date.
I wasn't really nervous. I was like, it's prom. I'm excited for it, but it wasn't really like I went, but I didn't really feel like it was like all that it was cracked up to be.
So you didn't think it was anything special?
No.
You know, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, maybe because you didn't have the whole date thing. Let's speak of dates. Those who do have a date, I know a lot of you that are going to go to junior ring dance, senior prom.
My sister's got a date.
She has dates with me.
You wish.
Just playing with you, Kaylee. You can kill me later. But I mean, seriously, I mean, it was a big deal to me because, me and my girlfriend, we went through ups and downs at the time going, towards senior year. We dated since sophomore year, junior year. So, and we did go to junior ring dance together. And so to make it to prom and still be in a relationship, and knowing that we were pretty popular in school as a couple, we didn't win prom king and queen, but just knowing that we made it that far was very nerve-wracking of what to wear, what it was going to be like. Or was this going to be, even for me and my friends, was this going to be the last night that we all spend time together,
I mean, as the night winded down for me, that's what I felt like. Half of these people I'm not really going to see after prom or after graduation, which is a couple weeks later. I'm not going to see these people.
I mean, for me, I was very sad about it. I was very happy. Like, you go in the door, and everybody looks nice, and every girl looks beautiful, like you wouldn't believe. And that girl that you've been dying to say you look nice to, but never had the courage to, you're like, tonight's the night. Or, hey, why not? Let's lay all the cards on the table. I want to ask that girl for a dance, and this may be my one last shot to ask the most popular girl in school to have a dance with me. And that's what it was for me. But I had my girlfriend on the second year. I went by myself, but I was okay with that. I went with friends, and I was at that point. I was like, okay. They invited me to their prom, and I just had a good time, and it was their moment. So I kind of like let them do the spotlight thing. Yeah. So Fred, with prom, a lot of people drink. A lot of people, unfortunately, do a lot of things they shouldn't do. What about for yourself? I know I was a minister of society. Well, what about yourself? I mean, what was the plan after prom, like that night?
After prom, they had a post-prom party at the school that lasted till like 4 a.m. So you had my mom come out at 4 a.m.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Well, his diet was killed.
You had, my mom pick me up from post-prom and go back home and sleep. That's basically what happened the night of prom for me.
No drinking, no alcohol. No. That's the only thing that just worries me with prom, and mostly because I speak from experience. You get into a lot of drinking. Prom night can be a lot of drinking, a lot of drug use. Yeah. On prom night, just because it's like it's just a party thing, and when you're young, it's like no limits.
That too, and like if you drink too much, then you get behind a car and you have drunk driving and all that.
That's a very good point. Unfortunately, like I don't know how many years it was when that incident happened in Milford, the tragedy that happened.
That was 2 years ago, I believe.
It was 2 years ago, and I thought that was very sad that she passed just because. Yeah. Whether the guy got rejected by her, and and that's the thing that happens too. That prom can be a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah, it can.
Of asking that person.
You want to ask the one girl you never asked.
Well, it's not just girls, the guys. Maybe even for the girls, guys too. But it's actually getting them to say yes.
Yeah.
Because asking, okay, what if I ask you and you say no? I feel that you got to still enjoy yourself no matter what. Prom is not the end of the world. It's not the end of time. It could be the last time you see certain people, but it is a night to celebrate responsibly. It is a night to enjoy, for all your, not just 4 years of high school, but your 12 years of school as a kid, and you're passing to an adult. To say that you live and you actually made it, that is what we celebrate. We should not be like, okay, well, I'm going to kill you because, you said no to me.
Well, I can tell you that when that day happened, everybody in Milford was affected by it.
I would imagine so. People around.
It felt like society stopped in Milford. That's just.
Everything
went silent.
I believe it. People around Connecticut was affected by it. Was affected by what happened, not just in Milford, because first of all, it happened in our state of Connecticut, and number two, it was just sad in general that somebody would go to the extreme over the dating and the whole prom thing. But that just goes to show you what prom means to some people. Yeah. that they will practically risk it all, for prom, and jealousy takes place. You talking to my girl, you're talking to my guy.
Yeah.
So prom is a lot going into prom, both yays and nays kind of thing going into prom. I know one of my flaws of going to prom that I was not at first wanting to go to prom was because, well, let's folks, gonna be real. I was gonna spend 3 hours, 2 hours. I don't know how long prom was. Just sitting there.
I think prom was like 3 hours.
About 3 hours. So I was like, I spent about 3 hours. Spent about almost $500. At the time, I had longer hair and I had braids. Of getting my hair done, getting a nice suit, and I was just gonna sit at a table, being in the chair and everything. My biggest, I think, disappointment to prom was I couldn't do more. That was my, negative look at prom.
My biggest problem, there were two. Well, my biggest negative effect, I guess there were two.
I know you not having a date.
Me not having a date.
Two should have been the penguin suit.
No, it wasn't the penguin suit, folks. It was. I didn't get to ask that girl that I wanted to dance with.
Why didn't you?
Nervous?
Well, that explains it. I mean, I look at you got everything in gang and nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why I went to prom. Because I was debating on not going because I knew, being in the chair and I was going to just sit at the table and look nice and everybody else were going to do things. I was like, oh, I'm not going to go. But a lot of my friends, they wanted me to go. And that was one of the positives. A lot of the kids that I went to school with that were in my class, both, of my senior years, they were like, you are part of the class and you're friends to us. So we want to see you there, and that was a plus to me. My biggest thing that the girl I was dating at the time, Samantha, that I was going out with, I felt bad for her. I couldn't dance with her. I couldn't, when they had the whole slow dance thing.
Yeah.
And being in a wheelchair, that was my negative part. But I was very happy, also, because she went with me. And. I'm, just like, she could have rejected me. She could have said no. She could not even showed up with me. And she spent, I'll be honest, practically the whole night. I think she got up once to dance with her friend Naima and Jeanette, but she spent the whole night sitting at the table with me. And that meant a lot to me. And she made me feel very special. And it just culminated of my 4 years of high school. She made my dreams come true, not to sound like Disney World, or just my whole years of going through school. It made it all worthwhile of being there, and the fact that she still had a good time to be with me there. And I could never repay her for that, and nobody could ever take that away, and I could never thank her enough for that. So, Samantha, thank you for going to prom with me. Now, later on, we ended up not working out and breaking up, etc. Right. But she gave me that high school memory.
Yeah.
That every kid dreams of having. Every kid wants to have that magical night. And that's what prom, at least to me, and I know a lot of viewers out there, a lot of young viewers, prom is a magical night.
I mean, like I said, in my school, we had junior prom and then senior cotillion. Now, when senior year came around for me, I was hyped. Even if I didn't have a date for that either. I went by myself. But even with that, I was more hyped for that than I was for prom.
I mean, well, you talk about junior ring dance. I had Samantha. She was there, and like I said, she culminate what high school was. I mean, she culminate of having friends. You could have, you can graduate. You could have that girl or that guy. And to be honest, her and me together were trendsetters. We opened the door to say you could date somebody with a disability. And a lot of our peers took very kindly to it. And they really respected it. To this day, they still ask me, are you guys still together? Teachers, other friends, they ask us if we're still together. Some days I wish we could have been that Cinderella story and went all the way through and had kids and got married.
Yeah.
But we are still friends. And so, like I said, I really don't have any negative outlook of high school. I think it was what I always dreamed of. My thing is, I'm very grateful that nothing negative. I had more positives than negative, but not everybody has that. I know a lot of people. Prom is a nightmare. You know, the dress got burned. You know, I spilled Kool-Aid all over my suit before in the prom. So some kids, it's like it's a night you want to forget. I mean, you know, it was like, you know, the reason why it's a big thing because people don't realize how much prom carries over. Because think about how much of high school do you really remember? What is the key things in high school at the end of high school do you remember?
Prom and your graduation.
Right. And that is why prom is such a big thing because it's the highlight of your school career. I say that because it's not a job, but of your school career. It's a highlight. That and walking down that aisle or strolling down that aisle in my case, but it is a highlight.
I was happy as heck when I graduated.
You know,
high school,
it
felt good.
Did you feel bad? Like, okay, did you feel like, okay, this is going to be the last time I talk to my friends? Are you getting off the girlfriend subject? What about your friends? What about your boys that you don't hung with and drunk some booze in back of the bleachers? Drunk booze in back of the bleachers?
No.
Nah.
But, like, as prom night ended for me, I felt like that was the last time that I'm going to see everybody. So that hit me towards the end of the night. You know, I remember one kid, he didn't go to prom because he was working post-prom that night. He was actually working with the company that had the post-prom, but I got to see him before, you know, we all graduated and whatnot. But I did feel that last time that you're going to be with everybody and be in the same room because everybody just splits after high school, and that's the thing. It's like I said a couple weeks ago. After high school, after you graduate, life happens, but also you meet in the middle. Because things happen to other people that causes them to meet in the middle, whether it's getting married, having a kid, or both. I know one of my high school crush, that girl I wanted to ask out, she's now married. She just recently got married, like last month, I think.
Well, I mean, also for me, it was a sad thing because, you know, you forgot when, they get married, they have kids, and everybody moves on. But unfortunately, some of our friends pass.
Yeah.
You know, I have, like, a couple that after senior prom, I heard, like, you know, my friend passed away, you know, or no longer with us. And it was like, wow. So it's like the prom is something I remember of them being there. And, you know, I'm like, I go back and I think about those days. And let me be honest, you know, you speak about life and after prom and after all this is over. That's the beauty of prom. It's the last night of it's one of the last nights, I should say, correct, of no responsibility.
No.
Because that's what's next. Responsibility. Like you said, you do meet in the middle. You meet in the middle. Sometimes you meet back up with those friends. And a lot of times you meet new friends. And, you know, I know for me, I went to senior prom. And half the friends, like I said, I don't talk to today that I talked to then. Mm-hmm. Then there's people that came back in my life that wasn't there when I was in elementary school, in middle school, and high school. And then there's people that are just brand new and it just better. And then the people I knew in high school, some of them are jerks. Yeah. And I'm glad I no longer talk to them. Some of them are doing stuff that, you know, I saw them doing so much more better with their lives. And, you know, I knew this one kid, I'm not going to say his name, who had a scholarship to play professional football and threw it away to do drugs. I mean, he was the captain of the football team. He was a cool guy. He wasn't stuck up or nothing. He took pictures, and I have all the pictures. He took pictures with everybody at prom, and we're like, he's going to be something, and we're going to see him on TV and everything. And then he throws it all away, you know. And that just goes to show you that what you see in that room that night, you're gonna have to cherish that because that may not be the picture. You know, that beautiful girl that's prom queen. Well, you know, she could be the one with 8 kids, and the nerd girl that was sitting by herself. Yeah, she might end up being the most beautiful, the respectable girl, you know, that kind of thing in the world. And then she owns a $1 billion corporation, or she becomes a model for Victoria's Secret or something like that. So,
I mean, like, some of us when we like graduate and we go on from prom, some of us look back at high school and don't like it or we let it define us. And what I've tried to do with the past couple of years is not let high school define me, and like say I've grown from this, I'm past this, but I'm now moving on in the next chapter of my life. And I think that's the biggest thing with seniors going to college or anybody translating from high school to life in general. That's the biggest.
Well, like I said before, it's one of those big moments in high school, but it is a passing and it's a transition. And like I said, that's why it should be celebrated, but not everybody kind of takes it that way. I, on the other hand, on one hand was nervous, other hand was happy, but didn't know. And I'm sure we have a lot of viewers out there that are going to prom and getting ready for graduation and do not know, what am I going to do after high school? I was one of them kids. I didn't know what I was going to do after high school. I didn't know that I was going to get my own place. I thought I was going to be in the nursing home. I thought I was going to not ever work. I thought, I figured I was going to be living at home with my mom until I was 55. I never thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing now here tonight or what I do in the community every day. But that's the thing, though. You don't know what's behind the other door. Yeah. But the most nerve-wracking part is taking that first step. And it does start by going through high school. High school can make you or break you, depending on what you do and who you hang with. It can make you or break you.
I mean, when I graduated high school, I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to at least try with that. But I had a job at 19, and by the end of the year, by June, they were like, "We got to put you in a cast," because they were trying to fix the sores on my legs, And I did that, and I wanted to go back, but they didn't accept me back. But if you told me today I'd be sitting there doing a TV show every week for about a year and a half, 2 years, I would have laughed in your face.
I just say, it doesn't matter, like. When they do go to prom and when you're getting ready for that big night, and seniors do leave early. Let's not forget that seniors get to leave the school property early to get ready for that night. Really soak it in and understand what is really going on. Don't just think about, okay, I'm gonna get drunk tonight, or no, I'm going to, fall in love tonight, and
cherish the heck out of it, because once it's over, that's it.
You got to live for the moment, man. I mean, and a lot of people don't live for the moment. They're gonna, they're gonna be like, oh, this and that. I always say you only be young once.
Yeah. So
enjoy being young. Everybody wants to be a grown up, and I know some have kids. Some don't even go to prom. We talk about we've been talking all night about going to prom. There's some that don't get to make it to prom because they either pass. Some are in jail already and they never made it through high school. Yeah. Some are pregnant and are going to have a kid, and they're on maternity leave or something because they not had a kid. Let's not forget about them. Or just can't go to prom because they don't have somebody to babysit for the kids. So I feel everybody,
or they choose not to. Like, so you got those.
Or that, or they can't afford it.
Yeah.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Prom ain't cheap.
No, it ain't.
And to look nice ain't cheap.
I think my tux was 50, 60.
Yeah, and that was when you were going. I mean, I know my prom ticket was like $50. I paid for me and my girlfriend, so it was $100 for our tickets. I paid another $40 for my hair at the time to get it braided. Paid another $250 and another $40 for shoes. So. It was really expensive.
I still can't see you with braids, man. I've seen pictures. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've always seen you with bald head. So,
but it is expensive. So not everybody can afford to go, and it's unfortunate because I feel that schools should allow all seniors who are, gonna graduate, who have good grades. They should make a way for all of them to go. And you know what? Another thing too, and I know my school did it. Those kids who are in high school, who are seniors, who are disabled, mentally challenged, yes, have them go to prom. And for everybody at the prom, interact with those kids. 'Cause let me tell you something. They're part of the class, too.
Yeah, they are.
They may not have been in your class specifically. They may not have, hung out with you after school. But, you make their night.
Right.
Just by taking a picture with them,
Oh, yeah.
or saying hi to them, or if you're the most prettiest girl, and say hi, and makes their night. I know, like I said, Samantha made my night, and I can never ever thank her more enough for that night, for that prom night. It was very special to me, and that's coming not just because I was dating her, it's because I'm a kid in a wheelchair who, I was like, what was the point of going? But at the end of that night, because of my friends that took pictures with me and Samantha who dated me and went with me, made me say to myself, I loved being in high school and I had a great night. Little goes a long way.
Yeah.
And prom is not a time to get jealous. Prom shouldn't be a time for mourning, unfortunately for what happened like in Milford. Prom should be a celebration, not only for you, not only for your friends, but for your family. Because your mom, your dad, your grandparent, whoever raised you, they done worked hard.
Yeah.
They sacrificed working countless hours to put clothes on your back, dealing with you. Maybe had to come up to the school 28 times because you done got suspended. Had to pick you up because you got sick from elementary to high school. And it's a celebration for them to see you and all your glory, because it's actually their glory too.
Right.
Because that's my son, that's my granddaughter, that's my dad. And look how a fine young man, a fine young woman they have become on this night, And, so yeah, it's not only, you got to think about that when you're going to go jump in a car and get drunk and unfortunately do things you shouldn't do. Think about the people that this night is more to them than just a dance. This night is saying my baby is going from a man or from a girl to a woman in general. But we're coming towards the end of the show. Freddie, any final thoughts?
Well, for the class of 2015 of Jonathan Law High School, I would say enjoy your prom. Cherish the heck out of it, because once you graduate, once you make that final step out of high school, life happens. So soak it all in. Every moment that you can, soak it in and make it count.
Very well said. And I can say, for all the people that go to Central High School, Hilltopper, and all the other schools around Connecticut in general, enjoy your prom, live for the moment, and like I said, think about your friends and your family, because at the end of the day, this is all their celebration as well as yours, and a little goes a long way. So with that said, I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
Have fun at your prom and have a good night.
See.